Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
You are the show, so thank you very much for being here. Otherwise, it would just be the Carla Marie and Anthony. And that would be silly. We were talking during the countdown. If you weren't here earlier, we were talking during the countdown about meats.
Yes.
Basically. And how Carla Marie has made the silly mistake of diving down rabbit holes and watching videos of how some foods are made.
But not recently. Like my recent meat aversion has just been...
Aversion?
Aversion.
Aversion. Why are you putting a D in there?
There might be a D.
I'm not even going to say it.
Oh, no, I think it is aversion. Aversion to meat? Yeah, aversion. I'm thinking of adhesion.
Anyway, continue, Carla.
Aversion to meat. It's just happening like because I'm cooking it. Like I made ribs for the first time, and just there was just ribs, like somebody's whole body was on my counter, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And the chicken's like whatever because it's not like it's just a slab of meat. Grosses me out.
But you've never
anyway.
bought like the whole chicken?
A naked one?
Yeah.
No, rotisserie. But then when I start opening that, and I'm like, I just ripped, like, who am I? I don't, this is insane.
My mom, for a lot of our dishes growing up, would have the whole naked chicken.
My mom, that's how she would make, like, chicken soup. And I was on FaceTime with my mom, and I was like, I don't think I can do it anymore. She's like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. I'm not pregnant, because I know that's something that happens when you're pregnant.
Listen, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but we have been, we've very much been removed from the process, right? Like, even 100 years, not less than 100 years ago, people would go to a butcher and you'd see like the animals hanging in the background.
I went with my grandparents, but
and before that, you were probably raising something on your land, whether it was a chicken or whatever. You were a goat. You were raising something that you were probably going to kill at some point.
Was it you explaining to me about a butcher that realized people stopped coming there because they were getting grossed out by seeing the animals hanging? They hid them, and then business started booming again.
Yeah. I don't remember when that happened, but it was a like way for butcher shops. I don't know where the first one that did this was, but for them to get more customers in the door.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've been toying around. Like I can do maybe a Mediterranean diet, like, but that's a dead fish then. So I don't know. I'm tiptoeing more and more towards vegetarian, not vegan, and pescatarian.
Fish.
I can deal with fish a little bit.
Because you don't think they have feelings?
Ate fish.
You did, fish and bread.
I could do that.
Lisa and Jen, thank you very much for taking us over the threshold and into level 6 of the hype train. You taking a shot today, Carla Marie?
Oh, shoot. I guess I have to.
You're back on it. Post-surgery?
Well.
I mean, you have every medical issue imaginable at the moment.
We'll get to that.
But, let's get into we'll see if we're going to take a shot in a second. Let's see what's on the list for today. Obviously, we have our Costa Rica field trip. You'll see Carla Marie and I posting about it more and more over the next couple weeks because right after Labor Day, we have to kind of make that final decision as to whether or not we're going to have enough people to go. Carla Marie and Anthony movie night. That's tonight. What's the movie we're seeing? I forgot.
My Old Ass.
That's what it is. With Aubrey Hepburn. Aubrey O'Day. Aubrey Marcus. Aubrey
Plaza. Aubrey Hepburn.
That's the one.
Isn't it Audrey Hepburn? What is her name?
I don't know.
I'm blanking on her name.
I think dead before I was born.
Audrey, yeah.
Oh, I always thought it was Aubrey Hepburn. So Audrey Hepburn. But that's not her movie. Thank you very much, Lisa. This is why we have the chat.
So yeah, I'm pumped for that movie tonight. I've also been binging Parks and Rec. So I've been having a very Aubrey Plaza week. So
okay, then we've got Freeze Your Credit. We'll talk about that. The No Good, Very Bad Day, the Ick, and Carla Marie and Anthony at night. We will get into all of that today.
And what you didn't put in there is I have a fun announcement.
And Carla Marie has a fun announcement that she didn't tell me about before, so that's why it's not on the list. First things first, Freeze Your Credit. Carla Marie was on the phone with her parents yesterday doing this. I mentioned it in the Morning Show podcast. If you didn't listen to the Morning Show podcast, there was a huge data breach of a company that had basically like millions and millions or billions, I should say, of social security numbers.
Yes. Thank you.
Ooh, what are we drinking?
Limoncello, just like.
No. Is that limoncello?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It looks like a whiskey company made limoncello, like the label.
Bookmark limoncello. Oh my God, this would be so fun for my book club.
All right. Well, fire it up, Carla Marie.
I'm going to have a little bit.
Okay.
So that it doesn't mess with my medicine.
That's fine.
Oh, there's one with you get the mustache. These are not You Look Great cups, but we'll handle it. We'll take them.
So, if you didn't listen to the morning show podcast earlier, there was a data breach of, I believe, almost 3 billion social security numbers. And those social security numbers are tied to people's names and addresses and family members, basically everything that you would fill out for a background check.
Yep.
All of that information was stolen.
This sounds super intimidating to have to freeze all of this.
It's not.
There are 3 websites. I had to make accounts and freeze on all 3 of them, and I was able to do mine uninterrupted. I didn't do anything else because I wanted to see how long in exactly 10 minutes.
Yeah, so you could do it through Experian. I think the other one's called TransUnion.
And Equifax.
And Equifax.
This was the whole debate.
It shouldn't take more than 15 minutes for each of them.
Yeah,
and
total.
It's not a big deal in terms of turning it on and off.
It's a click.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that'll help. And listen, if someone has all your social info, they might be able to get into that too. But it's at least one added layer of protection.
But you make a password and stuff. They don't have to get into it.
It's one added layer of protection to keep people from starting a line of credit or taking out a loan in your name, because that can destroy your credit and take a really long time to build back up.
And then doing my parents, though, not as easy as my own. So for those of you that will need to do your parents.
There's a lot of people here saying they've done it for their in-laws or their parents already.
It was like sending my mom, obviously, the text, and then sending my dad his text, because, you need to verify that it's you, blah, 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 whatever. And my dad just kept sending me the message over and over again. I'm like, please stop. I got it. Stop sending
What do
me.
you mean? Oh,
This
the
is
verification.
your Equifax, whatever. And then I kept calling it Equifax, and he's like, it's Aquafax. I was like, it's definitely not Aquafax.
Like
and
the
so there was a
Aquasocks?
whole debate. Like, it truly was a TV commercial. But for some reason, I could only verify my dad on Aquafax. The other 2 kept telling me his identity was not verified.
Okay.
So I need to go back today. I'm like, are you sure your name is spelled right on your social security card?
And it's something that I get really annoyed with all these new apps and services and whatnot. So many people so many different entities now ask for more information than they probably need.
Yep.
And I don't know what filters, I don't know if there should be some sort of procedure where these companies need to double check with, the government and be like, do you actually need this person's social? Do you need their address? Probably not. We've just finished Carla Marie, the Hype Train.
Right before I want to answer this question.
Yes.
From Run Like a Husky and AMS, very similar question. So how long do they recommend freezing your credit for? Can you use your existing lines of credit like you normally do? Yeah, so you can go off and use your credit cards like normal. When your credit is frozen, that means that a new card can't be opened.
Yeah.
So if you go to TJ Maxx and they get you, it won't work when they try to open the credit card because it's frozen. Can't get a new car, can't get a mortgage.
So I'll give you a quick anecdote. And I've known about freezing your credit for a long time, mainly because I'm very thankful that I'm one of the stupidest people in my family. My Aunt Nuha, I have an Aunt Nuha and an Uncle Nick, same side of the family, almost the same age, same initials, same middle name. Okay. My Uncle Nick went to get a loan out for a car that he was buying back in the day. And I remember the car because it was like a big deal that he got this. It was a Mitsubishi 3000 GT. It was like a cool car back in the day. And somehow when he was filling out his paperwork, I don't know if their socials are close enough.
Probably.
The line of credit was originally opened up under my aunt's name.
But that could have been anyone in the world.
And it's because their information was, and their addresses, I think at the time were the same. So there was a whole bunch of information that overlapped. After that is when my Aunt Nuha realized you could freeze your credit. And that way, if anyone tries to open up a line of credit with your information, it blocks that and you have to verify it. So it's something it's not very hard to do. And it's something that even if your information isn't stolen, is not a bad idea.
Yeah. So really, we should always be living with our credit frozen. You can also lock it, which is another thing. My mom's just locked and I don't know. whatever.
There's a bunch of options. And in the Morning Show podcast today, I talked about how if your information was stolen and you have proof that someone did take out credit in your name or whatever, the FTC has a page. I think it's called identitytheft.gov or something like that. I said it in the podcast this morning. You can check that out, and it gives you all the steps to. It still takes a while to get your stuff back, but it takes you through all the steps to kind of streamline that. Cheers to you, Carla Marie. Cheers to the hackers for making our lives terrible.
Screw them. Why'd I sniff it?
Ooh. Oh. It's actually. It's actually quite enjoyable. I feel like I had did your dad make limoncello? Is that why I didn't like it that one time I had it?
The one time you had it at my house, it was their friend that made it.
Okay, so it was like bootleg limoncello. So I don't like that stuff.
Thank you to everyone for getting us through that hype train. Thank you to Seattle Cocktail Club for the delivery.
You seem very happy.
My niece's friend's mom yesterday.
Niece's friend's mom, okay.
Just an acquaintance's mom. Lost all of her money through a hack through Bank of America. Someone called, said this is blah, 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 whatever. And this all started part of the conversation today in my family group chat of don't talk to anyone who calls you. They will get in touch. Like, it's never real, basically, if someone's really calling you. And if they're emailing you, you have to look at the email address. And then we all started ganging up on my dad once again because he has full conversations with telemarketers. And I told him they are taking everything you say, putting it through an AI computer, and using your voice for God knows what.
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen at some point with deep fakes is, let's use your dad for an example. Right, if they're able to record someone for 3 minutes, they're going to be able to use that voice. You can check it out right now with a company called 11 Labs. You record 3 minutes of audio, and they can use that information and replicate your voice to say anything they want. So hypothetically,
why would I do that?
Huh?
Why would I do that?
Creators are using it. It's like all these like hack stacks where it's like, this is how I make 85 pieces of content in one day. I've given 11 Labs my voice.
I'm good.
I'm not saying you're going to do it. I'm just saying this is what people are using it for. There are CEOs at companies who, instead of doing their
keynote,
like little keynotes or whatever announcements to their audience, it's fully automated through AI. Arnold Schwarzenegger's podcast is recorded through AI. He and his partners write it, and then they take that script and they run it through a service.
I think
real quick, and when you're Arnold and you have hundreds of hours of
your voice out there,
interviews and movies and TV shows, it's easier to do that because they have almost every word you're going to say.
I think what's going to happen is that stuff is going to be super successful for a while. You are going to see creators like make bank off of getting all this content pumped out, everything. And then a bubble is going to burst at some point. I may not be alive for it, but the bubble will burst, and it'll either burst where those people get screwed because their voice is everywhere. Something will happen. Because at the end of the day, the one of the true jobs or things that I think will always survive, even in the world of robots and AI, is real humans communicating with real humans.
Maybe.
Because it's going to get to a point and be like, I can chat with a real person opposed to the AI bot I've been chatting with.
Yeah, it might become a novelty again. It might become a novelty just like Walkmen are becoming a novelty again.
Yeah.
And tape players.
So will be Walkman and tape players.
Yeah. But I think our culture will move to a more automated, AI-driven place. But anyway, we're going to use your dad as the example here for fraud, right? So let's say they've got your dad talking on the phone to some fake telemarketer for 5 minutes. They can take that audio, run it through 11 Labs, okay? Now they have a way to make your dad say whatever they want to say.
Right.
They can now call your mom as your dad and say,
this is what I told them.
Say, hey, I need the social security number for this. What was the security word that we used for this? I'm trying to do something on my phone.
He's not understanding that though.
Yeah.
He does that's the hardest problem. Is that we could tell him this, but he doesn't comprehend what I'm saying.
It's a weird thing to try to comprehend.
What I'm thinking is I'm going to prank them on my own. like old school phone tap days where TJ would record
Yeah.
someone and play it back to them.
You could. But then you'd have to run your dad's voice through
No,
something
I'm
like...
going to just do it I'll record it here. I don't need to run it through AI.
So what are you going to do?
I'll just
Explain
prank him. I'm going to prank him with his own voice.
How?
Just the way we used to do.
Do you have the tools to do that?
I'll get him. I'll talk to him. I'll record a bunch of it, and then I'll play it back.
I don't think it's going to work, though. Not that you can't do it. I don't think your dad's going to realize that because you're taking his voice and playing it back. He's not going to realize that you do have the ability to take his voice and make him say whatever you want him to say. That's a
I'll record him for the next year and then
whole different thing.
Or I could use his voice to trick my mom.
That's literally what I just said.
No, what your brother said. Instead of playing it back to him, I can play it to her. Speaking of, this is my dad's shirt.
Oh, someone was asking if you're wearing spiders.
No, why would I wear spiders?
Because on the camera, it does look like spiders.
No, this is just a 90s shirt. I took it from him years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just never not that it didn't fit right, but I couldn't, I think somehow chopping off my boobs made it cuter. Look. Cool, right?
Looks cool. Have you ever worn it before?
Maybe once or twice.
Okay. Next on the list, Carla Marie, is the no good, very bad day.
All right. I can go into this. I'll start with the good part that wasn't on the list, and then I'll go into this.
Okay.
So
what's the good part?
The best news ever I got on Tuesday. I had my follow-up call with Dr. Rankin, my surgeon that removed my breast implants, and I had sent all my photos over to him. Probably going to be hacked. You'll get to see my boobs at some point when the internet, gets them. But sent them over to him. He looked at them. We had a call, and he said, "You're clear to do everything now. They look exactly like they're supposed to look like. And just take it easy. But yeah, you could do push-ups. You could do bench press. You could." I said, "Can I go get a massage and lay on my stomach? Because I still can't sleep on my stomach for an extended period of time."
When can you do that?
3 more months.
Oh, wow.
But you can go get a massage. And I was like, thank God. And then I woke up.
So this was Tuesday.
Tuesday. And I woke up Wednesday morning. And I was like, I have a bladder infection. I have a sty and a cold. What is happening to my body?
Yeah, you got hit pretty hard yesterday.
And I went to urgent care. So this is the no good, very bad day. I went to urgent care, Zoom care. They are not paying for this, but they are the freaking best urgent care system. They are regional. I've gone to one in Denver. They're amazing.
I think they have them across the country now. No,
they're kind of just over here, I think.
Okay.
At 5 a.m., I went into the Zoom care app, made an appointment for 7:45, first one of the day. Went there. I did my pee test. And she looked at my sty, prescribed me antibiotic for a bladder infection, which was confirmed, and antibiotic eye drops, which I've never had for the sty before,
So what is a sty? I know you have a pimple on your eyelid.
Basically, a sty happens when dirt or oil clogs up in where mine is, specifically where your eyelash pores are.
Yeah, it looks like you just got a little mole coming out of your eyeball.
Yeah, so she's like, yep, that's it. So it's just dirt and oil clogged up in there. No, it's not Zoom
That's a good question though.
Yes.
So Erica P31 is asking in the chat, how do they do a P test over Zoom?
They don't.
So Zoom Care is not affiliated with the Zoom video conferencing service.
It's Zoom fast.
It's you still go to an office.
Yes.
And they can do most things that a regular doctor's office can do.
Yes.
They have x-ray machines?
Yes. Some of the certain ones have x-rays. You can actually make an appointment and do your pap smear there. They do pediatrician visits. It is the best.
For the record, that's actually a very normal question from Erica.
No.
Yeah.
It is. Someone also asked me that yesterday when I posted about them. But I have done telemed with them when I had COVID last year, and they just said, show me the COVID test. Boom. Okay, here's your Paxlovid. Within an hour, I had it. So
it's pretty cool.
They're great. There's a company called eMed that you can pee on a stick, do telemed with them, show them you have a UTI, and they prescribe it. So it's all an at-home kit.
Can you buy it?
You have to buy it in advance.
Okay. So you can't just go to a Walgreens and buy it?
No,
okay.
I have it. I was going to do it yesterday, but when I went to go put in all my symptoms, it told me I had way too many symptoms. I needed to see someone in real life.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm on it.
They were like, bitch, you're broken. Go to a doctor.
I was out yesterday. I just laid down for the whole day. Mm-hmm. I don't know. My body's just pissed off.
But that happens with everybody.
But
right?
it was the day after I got the okay to go do whatever I wanted.
You know what? Now you're rested up fully, and you can go, tackle the world or do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, Run Like a Husky's
What is
been
this?
using the Costco Sesame. So Sesame is a street and a company that does telemed visits.
Oh, I thought Costco Sesame was going to be some sort of like herbal remedy. Like,
No.
I buy the sesame specifically from Costco.
I did this in the Morning Show podcast like a year ago.
Really?
Costco teamed up with Sesame to offer you telemed visits if you have it's basically free with the Costco membership, like Run Like a Husky said, but then you just pay $25 for a visit. With insurance or without.
Oh, so you don't have to get the extra membership for... I'm confused. How is it free but
Sesame
$25?
membership is free.
With
the
your Costco membership.
And then you only pay $25 for virtual.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Where like I still had to use my insurance yesterday at ZimCare and my copay is $50, which is insane.
It's not that bad.
No, it is. It technically is compared to other insurance companies.
But I'm saying compared to America in general, being able to see a doctor for $50 is not the end of the world.
No.
Especially with all the things you got going on.
AMS said I did one through Amazon, which is basically the same as the Costco one. Yeah, for things like this, I don't know if I could have done it for needing to pee in a cup, but if you are sick, if you have COVID or whatever, and you want to get Paxlovid and you can't get into your doctor, things like that, the Amazon doctor or the Costco doctor, they're great.
Yeah, my fear with Amazon and Costco getting into the medical space is they have the funds to undercut all of the other medical like services right now, which is great for us until, much like Uber cut out all taxis or Grubhub and Seamless cut out all deliveries.
It's a little, I don't think we'll get quite there.
I think we will get to a point where they own so much of that market, those two companies, that then they start driving up the prices like all the other tech companies have been doing.
Because I talked to my doctor about it and she's like, I love that they're doing this because it's not that they're undercutting doctors.
Yet.
They're undercutting insurance companies.
Yet.
But how is it?
At some point.
I'm still going to have to go to a doctor.
But at some point, if those companies get big enough, they can then say,
they're opening clinics.
They haven't overtaken the medical insurance space yet. There are still much larger companies there.
But what will happen is that then insurance companies will have to make their rates better.
Maybe. It just hasn't happened yet when a tech company has taken over any other space. So all I'm saying is it is great right now. It's just something we should keep our eyes on because those companies still, they care about money. They don't care about us.
AMS said taxis are making a comeback. Oh, and I'll be honest.
Where?
The airport.
Well,
taxi, to be honest, is just as expensive as Uber.
Depends. Like when I was in Vegas, and I think Vegas and New York are still cities that have taxis that are doing decent. In Vegas, obviously, whether you're at the airport or any of the hotels, it's still very much a taxi-based industry. You can call Ubers. It's usually a separate entrance, but it's just easier to get a taxi.
Yeah.
The only time I couldn't get a taxi in Vegas was we had a brunch at one of the hotels. And then we went to a pool or whatever. And my goal was to go get a pedicure in Vegas before we went to the pool party on Saturday. I went down to the taxi stand, and I don't know if some event just got out.
Oh.
There was, no joke, like 100-person line waiting for taxis, which I can't imagine getting an Uber would have been any easier at that point because everyone has the app.
Erica said it is just nice to schedule an Uber. Taxis don't have that. So every city, I'm sure every city has some sort of a taxi app. Like in LAX, when we got out of the airport, you could schedule a taxi. And it's free. Like you just schedule it and it shows up.
Yeah.
There's in Seattle, I think it's called Yellow Cab. But it's not like a consistent piece of technology, but you can schedule or book in there. But I wouldn't use it for the airport because they may not show up.
So Lenny said that it was cheaper to take a cab to the airport in Seattle than an Uber. We oftentimes will take a cab back from the airport.
But lately, I feel like everyone's friends are kind of like, we all understand how expensive it is. Like, we'll drive each other to the airport, which is something you don't normally do.
Which, that's how I grew up. Like, our families think, and you grew up basically in the airport, so it's closer for your family.
Terminal X.
Yeah, Terminal M.
Terminal Marie. Except now my dad's like, just take an Uber.
Well, because you guys are very close.
It is.
How much is an Uber from?
Under $30. Under 20 sometimes.
Whereas my family was always like someone, and we have a big family, thankfully, but someone was always going to pick you up from the airport. Like there was no one grew up taking a taxi to or from the airport. There was always some family member that was going to make sure they got there.
Right.
And that's what our networks are for, right?
But your brother said, since when did it become weird to take family to the airport? You have to realize that like here, it's not like I'm like calling my brother and being like, can you drive me to the airport? It's, I have to ask like a friend, which is fine, but.
It all depends on where you grew up and how big your network is. Some people just don't have big families, right? If you were an only child and your parents didn't have a bunch of siblings, there just aren't that many people to ask. And yes, you can say friends and whatnot, but what if you just moved to a new town, right? Like there are reasons that it's difficult for some people.
The last time I asked my brother to drive me to the airport, he said, I will pay for your Uber after this moving forward because I never want to do this again. He was like, this place is so confusing. I'm like, what are you, 90? Just follow your GPS. You're going to survive.
Scotty said, I always take the light rail to get as close to a house as possible and then get Uber from there, way cheaper and easier.
You didn't talk about this.
I took the light rail for the first time.
Ever. In Seattle.
Mainly because it's also very new.
It was a week ago.
Like they're still building out some of these light rail stations.
But it was Thursday. Anthony was going to Vegas and I was like, I will drive you to the airport. He's like, I want to try the light rail.
I'll be honest with you. Ever since going to Japan.
And that's when my niece said Japan changed him.
Ever since your niece said it.
Yeah, I was telling her how you made me drive you to the airport.
Oh, okay. Ever since going to Japan, I have. Oh, we got an ad break. You know what?
We'll have to wait. Ever since going to Japan.
We'll be right back. Okay, back to what I was saying earlier. So what I was saying before we took that little break was we were talking about how I, for the first time ever, took the light rail from the most northern point you can take it from right now, which is Northgate.
That's where it doesn't start there.
There's 2 lines. That's the most northern point of that line.
Okay.
They're soon opening, I think maybe even next month, opening another further station. Shoreline, I believe.
Oh.
Anyway, ever since going to Japan, I have tried to challenge myself to take more public transportation because I came back and I immediately thought like, wow, America sucks with public transportation, which is true. But then I also had to be honest with myself and say, okay, outside of New York and New Jersey, how much have you attempted to actually take public transportation? Because then if you're not taking it, you're also part of the problem.
You've still never. I've taken the bus once here and the regular train once.
I'll be honest with you. Not really a bus guy. I hate buses. I love trains.
I don't mind buses.
Hate buses.
Why? They got their special lane.
Sometimes.
They have a special lane here.
Sometimes.
Almost everywhere.
It's also the bike lane. It makes no sense.
Definitely not safe.
What city planner said, you know what, we're going to have a special lane, but the only people that are allowed to ride in it are bikes and buses.
Well, then they put fentanyl all over the buses.
Well, there's that too. Anyway, I told myself, you need to start taking public transportation more in America. And actually, when I flew to LA before this most recent trip to Vegas, my goal was to get from the airport, from LAX, to my cousin's place in Manhattan Beach using public transportation. The only problem was by the time I landed, it was late enough in the day where I'd have to wait like an hour for a bus or a train or whatever. So just it didn't end up being worth it. But I took the light rail down from Northgate all the way to the airport. And it was a great experience. It was super clean. The signs were very easy to read. It had one of my favorite things that they've been doing that they did in Japan, which was it tells you, the little video screen tells you which side of the train to get out on, even though it's not huge and it's not super packed. But the one thing that was weird is the announcement on the train made it sound like the train was a person because it would say exit on my left.
How do I know
well, I guess it's the direction that you're going in, left and right.
Well, yeah, because they can't say on your left because which way you face it.
I don't know. The left side of the train. That was the weird part to me. But it was great. It was super cheap. I think because I basically took the entire line, it was $3.25.
That's great.
And I think what they're going to be doing is a flat rate for like 3 hours. So you pay $3, you can ride it wherever you want, however long you want, for whatever number of hours. Jordan and Puyallup said, I love the light rail in Seattle, especially if I'm going to a game at T-Mobile or Lumen Field.
I've still never been on it. But here's the difference. Like, if you're coming from somewhere like Puyallup, yeah, you drive to that parking lot, and then you park there, and then you don't deal with the city mess. But when we come from, like, somewhere like Ballard, where we live, I would have to drive 20 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic, to the light rail to then go sit on it for 20-something minutes when I can get to Lumen Field in 15 minutes.
But you're also, think about
the
time you're saving and the stress, too.
Well, for me, I've never experienced traffic near the stadium. Even during the All-Star game, I picked you guys up in front of the stadium.
Yeah. I just thought it was a great experience, and it's something I would definitely do more of.
I think that we just need more of it.
And that's what they're building. It's just going to take like another 30 years for them to finish everything, which is a little annoying. But it was a really good ride.
We're going to take the bus.
I've been trying to make sure that I at least research the public transportation options on some of the trips I need to take, so I can be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And I also understand that it's easier for me as a man to feel safe by myself riding public transportation. And that's something that I think the city has beefed up. They have more transit security. I've seen them on a bunch of buses. I've seen them on a couple of the cars of the light rail when I was waiting for mine. So it's something they're trying to do a good job of.
Well, did you see that our bus that crashed into a concrete building recently?
Yeah, that's not great.
Did you see the camera footage of inside?
Mm-mm.
Because you don't have seatbelts.
Yeah.
People, it literally just looked like toys. Were tossed. It was insane.
But was it a car cut off the bus or something and made it veer off the road or something?
What happened.
Something like that.
Like at Rutgers, I would take 8 buses a day, like just to get around. And the bus system, and now they got apps, and they were just making apps when I was there. And we were like trying to guess. Oh God, you would text. There was a bus number you would text to see when the next bus was coming, but it was literally called Next Bus. And I go back to like that, and like you look at a college campus, and they have their bus system down. Usually. Obviously, much smaller than a major city.
Yeah,
but it was such a huge part of, like, they were free. Even if you weren't a college student and you were just getting around the campuses, boom, hop on the bus. It was amazing.
Jen said something in the chat. She said, NJ Transit has been more unreliable than ever. I'm going into the city in October, which is New York City, and still debating on driving versus the train. So apparently NJ Transit, which in my time riding it, super reliable. I mean, I rode it for years and years and years, and maybe was late like 4 times. And one of those times was because there was a car on the track.
Oh, that's inconvenient.
That'll slow you down a little bit. I'll never forget feeling the train hit the car. No one was hurt, thankfully. It was just like a disabled vehicle that someone left on the tracks, which was the smart thing for them to do, to get out of the car. But we were only stuck. Think about this. We hit a car, and thankfully no one was injured. And the train was only delayed like 20 minutes. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But apparently they've been really bad this summer. And I just saw an article, I think my brother Justin sent it to me, where for a week, NJ Transit is going to be free.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking about that in here.
As a way to, A, apologize for the unreliable summer they've had, and B, to motivate more people and show them, like, hey, this is still a good service. We're getting better.
It's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to take the PATH train in New York City. New Jersey, New York, all the time. That is how I got to my internship.
Yeah.
When I worked in the afternoon with JJ at Z100, I would drive to Harrison, New Jersey, park for $7, which is not the case anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hop on the PATH train to World Trade Center, and then I would walk. And like, I just wish that we had that opportunity here. That is the one knock I can give Seattle, is that truly, like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And they're trying with the light rail. It's not the best, but it's decent.
We are essentially on an island, even though not an island, when we in the neighborhood that we live in.
Yeah, nothing really comes here. We have a couple buses.
We're going to try a bus.
Okay, sure.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know. What I want to go to is the next thing on the list, which is the ick.
Okay.
Is this back? The ick?
It's never left.
So the ick, for people who don't know, is what?
You can explain it.
So the ick is when you have a thing. It wouldn't necessarily be a red flag because a red flag can mean someone's like dangerous for you or a bad partner.
Not a red flag.
The ick is one level down from that. It is something that you notice about someone that is just a turnoff. So
It's kind of like a pet peeve, essentially.
But some people can say, "Oh, this guy likes Pokemon. That's my ick. My ick is that he likes Pokemon."
It could be. I've seen
my
women.
ick is that she wears her dad's clothing.
I've seen people be like, "I saw the way he jumped in a pool, and that's it." Like things like that.
A random thing that can turn you off from a possible partner. So,
do you know that there is a medical ick?
A medical ick?
Yeah.
Like that doctors have with patients?
So.
Or I don't, what is this?
I'm on the phone with my niece, adult niece, yesterday, and they have a fish tank. Her and my little nephew have a fish tank.
Okay.
She's telling me how one of her fish had all these bumps on it. And her friend came over and was like, "Alyssa, you have to get that fish out of the tank. It has the ick." And she's like, "You're a jerk. Shut up. Like, what are you being funny?" He's like, "I'm telling you, it has the ick." And she's like,
"What is the fish ick?"
"What?"
Like a fish stick?
Ictopa blah, 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 riferdus.
Okay.
It's like a term for when a fish gets a bacterial infection.
Oh, no way.
And it gets all the other fish sick, and then they all die.
So what, you have to kill the fish?
You basically have to, remove it, whatever. Put it in its own tank.
Lenny said ick is a scale disease.
What you use to clean your tank after it.
Super ick cure.
And it's a spray.
This looks like it's a joke.
I told her you need to do a video.
So just Google on your own device.
Fish
Super ick cure. The company that makes it is called API.
So I told her you need to do a video, or just give me the spray. I will do it. I'd be like, "This is how I get rid of all my icks from men," and spray it. And then I was like, "Wait, how funny that is? This where it originated?"
Probably not.
I think it did.
No, because saying you feel icky or whatever, that's been a thing for a long time.
No, but it's a parasite. Like, it makes sense. Like, ew, it like gives me a parasite.
I'm assuming it looks gross on the fish.
You just get bumps, white bumps. I'm looking up how to pronounce this. Is my thing on?
Oh, yeah. Here.
Oh, they don't have the regular pronunciation, so we have to listen to somebody say it.
Well, it's not connected.
All right. That's fine.
We don't need to listen to the pronunciation. Katie said, "Oh my God, I had a fish that had the ick." Let's see.
Like, isn't that crazy to learn that? I could not even handle it.
Jen said that the first notable usage of the term the ick is from Ally McBeal from 1997. Huh.
Sometimes I just know that it's not a match, even when I don't know the why part the character told a rejected suitor. We call it the ick.
There you go.
Was
Ally McBeal that far ahead of her time? I never watched the show.
Ictopa fiturius. Oh, wait, here we go.
Did you ever watch Ally McBeal?
No. There was like sex in it and stuff, and I was too little.
What was the whole idea of Ally McBeal? Was she like a lawyer or something? Ally McBeal.
Guys, there's a super ick spray, and no one has done a video about it.
So do it. Yeah, American legal comedy drama.
I thought there was sex in it.
Yeah, highly sexual environment.
Okay, yeah.
Whose staff includes Allie's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I could not. Wasn't allowed. Too much.
Callista Flockhart. When was the last time you heard that name?
Clicker.
I don't even know her.
I was waiting.
Why am I clicking on her?
I wanted to see what she's been doing these days. Wait, she's married to
Harrison
Indiana Jones?
I didn't know that.
I did know that now. Now I did know that.
Now you knew it?
I did. Yes.
I had no idea.
I always think she looks like, what's her name? I always forget to confuse with it's not from Stepmom. The other lady that's so nice looks like a mom. Oh, I think she was in a movie with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I had no idea she was married to Harrison Ford. Would you look at that?
Wow.
Are you trying to think of the person?
Who's the mom in, she's the bride, father of the bride?
I don't know. How do you expect me to remember that?
You know what's crazy is that Steve Martin looks the same. Also, Steve Martin was our age when he filmed Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Diane Keaton.
There you go.
Yes, Diane Keaton. I always think that Callista Flockhart was Diane Keaton. They always are the same person in my head.
They don't look that similar,
Not
though.
Diane Keaton now. That.
I could see it, I guess. Maybe. Have you ever had the ick, though? Because I've tried to think about it ever since a couple of years ago when like the term the ick started coming around, or I guess coming around again since Ally McBeal. I think I've been pretty fortunate. Oh, no, I did. I guess, would a smell be the ick?
It could be.
Because I was actually just talking to one of my friends about this. He was, one of my friends was on a date with a woman who, I guess when she came over to his house later in the day, smelled like cigarettes.
I guess just smoking would be that's hard because that's like I feel like the ick is something that it's just almost like you're the only person in the world that this would bother.
Yeah, that's true. I guess smoking and the smell of cigarettes is an ick for a lot of people.
That's a pet peeve.
So
that's a no.
I don't know. I think I've just been super fortunate or maybe any of the women that I could have considered in this category, I just wasn't with long enough to find their ick. I don't know.
I definitely give you the ick.
You do?
I'm sure.
I don't think we'd be able to spend this much time if you gave me the ick.
I'm trying to think if there's something you do, but
no, you do like the annoying thing you do is you don't put things back. But other than that, it's pretty good. You are relatively digestible, I would say. I'm trying. What about any icks for you?
From you?
No. Or I guess
Anyone?
of me.
I don't think so. Me. Like things that I'm just like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, I really can't think of any. Jolly Russian Buddha said, I'm shocked Anthony doesn't have more critiques. I think that the thing that people forget with Carla Marie and I is how long we were friends.
Yeah, we knew what we were getting into.
So if there was an ick, it just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
I mean, that sty in your eye is disgusting, but other than that.
I will get close to the camera for the show ends so I can show you.
Other than that.
I might literally have the fish ick when you see the sty. Chrissy, hi. She said relatively digestible is something you need on a greeting card.
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting on the couch straight for the gym. If we just started dating and you did that, I think I would be like, I'm out.
Yeah, but I knew I had you, so I didn't have to worry about it, you know?
I will be doing a full clean of that couch. And so help me God, if you do that, I will take your buzzer clippings and dump them all over the shirts in your closet. And I am not kidding. I will dump it in your underwear. I will do all of it.
Okay.
I'd
have to trust that you were going to like actually do something, like take something out of a space, use it, and then put it back.
Clean the couch?
No, with my clippers.
I put them away all the time. You want to talk about ick? You somehow, when you clean your buzzer, you don't clean anything else that you get the hair in. You just dump the hair around the bathroom, clean the buzzer, close it up, and put it away.
I don't think that's from the buzzer, because I've been pretty good.
Whose hair? It's not mine.
I think it's just my hair. I think I'm just a hairy person, so my hair ends up in a lot of places.
So AMS said I don't let my husband do that either. It's psychotic behavior. Oh, no, that was two different things.
Mish, thank you very much for the subscription with Prime. Appreciate that very, very much.
Run Like a Husky said, I had an ex who would eat ice cream cones from the top only instead of licking around the sides, and he always dripped it all over himself. That's you.
Oh, like taking a bite out of the ice cream cone?
That would be my ick. The way you eat ice cream. If we were on a first date and I watched you do this.
I don't do that. I bite it.
No, you go. You do two wrongs.
Which makes a right.
You don't.
Isn't that what we've learned our whole lives? Is two wrongs do make a right?
You don't lick around. I don't
lick around.
If it was like, oh, you want to get some ice cream after this cool first date? I'd be like, yes. And then I watched you go like the owl from Tootsie Pop commercials. I'd be.
I think if we started dating as people who didn't know one another,
it would never last.
I would have to tell you
I had 4 cats.
That wouldn't have bothered me.
Yes, it would have.
I don't know.
100%. If you didn't have cats in your life and you're like, oh, I just went on a date with this girl and she had 4 cats.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I can't confirm or deny that, but I'm trying to think. I wouldn't have known that you don't put things back until too late in the relationship.
Oh my God. You act like I'm so much better at it. You know I'm better. Admit it.
But still not great. if the worst quarterback in the league becomes the second worst quarterback in the league, they're still pretty bad.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
guess what? I'm not being paid millions of dollars to
Anyway.
put things back.
Anyway. So those two things, the cats and not putting things away, wouldn't have been considered icks because I don't think, with the cats, I can't really say
Oh my God. I would
one way or the
to-
other.
I would have to like if I was like dating people when I had 4 cats, I would have to hardcore be cleaning the cat hair after me.
Well, I'm just wondering if we were, again, dating as like normal people that didn't know each other, and you had like one of your snot princess days when I met you.
I would have canceled.
Yeah, that would have been a no.
I couldn't have gone on a date like that.
But other than that, I don't think Carla Marie has any, at least for me, ick-worthy traits. I'm sure for other people, you have a ton of ick-worthy traits.
As much as I sniff, when I'm like sniffly, you go. So
yeah, I breathe out through
we
my
would
nose.
just be sitting in the car going.
Yeah. Run Like a Husky said, does anyone listen to the Brooklyn Boys? The Branzino versus no cheese hamburger debate. I am not familiar with that one.
No.
I mean, I'm obviously familiar with the Brooklyn Boys. I know them both very well.
What is she called in Billy
Is
Madison?
it Branzino?
When she blows her nose and rubs her boogers on her boobs? Mucus Queen?
Mucus Queen, I think. Yeah.
That's me.
Tacoma Swifty said, I got the same sinus issues, so I get it.
Oh, Mr. Bear.
Scotty Whip said, my ick is people who kiss and use teeth.
Ew, I don't even want to know about that. What do you mean?
While you're like you touch teeth while you're kissing? Oof. That sounds weird. Okay, so a guy ordered a hamburger and didn't want to pay $3 extra for cheese. The girl ordered Branzino. Is it Branzino or Branzino? Am I saying it right? She was mad about him not wanting the cheese, so she went to the bathroom, paid the bill, and ghosted. I don't know. I think based on our conversation that we had on Tuesday, where I'm just against paying for any extra fees, I'm on the guy's side here. If I don't want to pay $3 extra for cheese, I shouldn't have to pay. I shouldn't be judged on that. Right? What are you confused about?
He ordered the hamburger.
Yes. Also, when I was in Vegas last weekend.
I think the more psychotic thing is that you just ate a hamburger.
Why?
Ugh.
So a lot of people like hamburgers. It doesn't mean you just had a bun and meat either. You could have lettuce and tomatoes and pickles. You know what I learned this weekend? And maybe it's just the location in Las Vegas because maybe they pay more for their spot, whatever it is. We stayed, my cousin Julian and I stayed at, what's that stupid castle hotel called?
You told me this too. I don't remember.
Excalibur.
Wait,
Which,
didn't you stay there with your brother once?
no, we've stayed next door, the Luxor. The Luxor and Excalibur are connected through essentially a giant food court.
But didn't one day in Vegas when you and Michael went, didn't you stay at some random crappy hotel?
Yeah, that's right next to the MGM. It's called the OYO Hotel.
OYO.
Don't stay there. That place is bad. Listen, if you got to save some money and stay there. Just understand it's going to be bad.
I need to go back really quick. First of all, that's the best name ever. Catalino Wine Mixer. Love that. Nice to meet you. Also, I am semi-lactose intolerant. I should not have cheese on my burgers.
Yeah. Read the comment, by the way.
I know. Oh, she said that my husband always eats hamburgers because he's lactose intolerant. I think my dad does too. But I think it's just weird to say hamburger.
I don't think it is. Hamburger helper.
Hamburglar.
Anyway, we stayed at the Excalibur, and right next to our elevator bank, because there's 2 towers in the Excalibur, we stayed in there's the resort and the something else tower. Under our tower was a Baja Fresh, which came in clutch. I ended up eating there twice, maybe even 3 times. But they charge extra for cheese and sour cream on your burrito.
But cheese is like supposed to be a given.
Yeah,
Sour cream I can see.
I guess they put a thin layer of cheese on like the tortilla first, and that melts. But if you want like shredded cheese on top and sour cream, both of those are added fees.
Did you get it? You don't like sour cream in your burrito.
No, I do. I don't like guac on my burrito.
Oh.
A lot of people judge me for the fact that I don't like guac on my burrito.
But it's cold.
It's cold.
But so is sour cream.
Yeah, but the sour cream like mixes in easier to the rest of it. Anyway, I thought that was weird. The fact that they were charging extra for cheese and sour cream when all of the other, burrito make your own burrito style companies, that's just included.
Because
The only thing they charge extra for, depending on where you go, is usually guac. And I think Chipotle for a while was charging more for their queso, and now it's free.
Oh wow,
Something
I'm sure
like
it's
that.
just we're getting that fee somewhere else.
Probably.
Erica said that her and her friends stayed at the Excalibur, and they got matching tattoos of Excalibur.
It's a funky looking place. It looks like a castle at Disney. But it's very old Vegas in terms of like it was built when all of those theme.
Oh, Luxor, sorry, not Excalibur. I take it back.
It was built at the same time all of those theme hotels were built.
Yeah.
So you had like New York, you had Paris, you had the Luxor is the theme
Luxor
hotel.
is a pointy.
It's the pyramid.
Okay, that's what her tattoo is.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the castle.
It's the pyramid, and they have a Sphinx outside. And during Raiders games, they put an eye patch on the Sphinx.
Wow.
Then who else? Caesars puts a Raiders jersey on the statue of Caesar.
That's cool.
But
I'm sure that's just what Caesar wanted.
there was someone, I think it was Scotty, said, you stayed at Excalibur but spent $5K on a cabana. First off, I just checked my credit card. It was closer to $8K on the cabana. What? Yes?
That's insane.
Yeah,
How
I know.
many of you were there?
9.
Counting the groom.
Yes.
So then it's $1,000 each.
Yes. And then I still got to...
Stop. This is insane. You better get another job.
Another job. I'm not paying for it all myself. But
Wait. Oh.
the reason that we stayed at Excalibur was most of the guys were staying at the MGM Grand, which is where the pool party was. It was at Wet Republic, which is part of that property. We stayed, it was only across the street. I mean, it took us maybe 10 minutes to walk there through all of their corridors
mazes,
and ups and downs. But it was, I think, 3 times cheaper to stay where we stayed. And listen, at the end of the day, not really, you're just in the room to sleep. Shower was a little weird, but apparently we stayed on, they have 3 floors at the Excalibur. They're like the health floors, or I don't know, there's some weird category they have. There's even different buttons on the elevator. And it's like 12, 14, and 15, because I don't think they have a 13th floor. When really just 14 is 13. Anyway, you get like a little water filter in your shower that's supposed to soften the water or something.
Who's booking those floors on purpose for that?
Then you get an air filter.
Shouldn't everyone have this?
Or a special air filter. I don't know, an added air filter. And then you get like an aromatherapy machine. Those are the 3 benefits you get by staying in the fancy rooms, but it's only an extra $5. So that's why my cousin ended up booking it.
That's hilarious. John You Out said, Tones, you're the one who's always blasting bachelorettes for spending too much money.
Yeah. But I also, see.
You also have gone to 2 bachelor parties that had 30 people each at both of them.
Here's what I normally give bachelorette parties a hard time on. It's all the extra bullshit, right? It's we all have to wear matching blah, 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 which I know we did for my brothers, but those are also shirts donated by the Roosevelts.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. There's just all this extra stuff. And also like the dick pretzels and the dick fucking straws and the dick hats. All of that, like that's all the stuff that I make fun of bachelorette parties for. If you want to spend money on a good time, go spend money.
I would rather save myself $1,000 and wear a dick hat. I'll wear a whole dick outfit.
But you're not because I think both groups, bachelor parties and bachelorette parties, are spending similar money oftentimes. It just seems to me, at least, and maybe it's because I've never been invited to a bachelorette party. I don't know.
They're the best.
That the money is spent on more frivolous, disposable garbage.
In terms of decoration, yeah.
But right, like at your niece's, no, hold on. At your niece's bachelorette party, you had all didn't you have his face on sticks?
No, we had that from the shower, and then they were reused for
that's
the
good.
bachelorette party.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes. No, there are definitely decorations that you spend money on, but it's like $50.
Which is fine. Listen, whatever you do to have a good time, have a good time. And if you're having a great time, it shouldn't matter if I make fun of you for it.
Well,
are you enjoying your life? What does the idiot on your screen matter?
We're going to make fun of you for spending all your money.
I'm going to do it again in 5 weeks. Actually, the group that I'm going with in, I guess it's 5 weeks from now, the middle of September, they're going to spend way more money.
Well, it's funny because you just went with
the group that I went with this past weekend.
You just went with a bunch of noobs.
Yeah, first timers, a lot of them.
You're about to go with a bunch of seasoned Vegas vets.
Yeah, maybe 2 seasons, overcooked, if you will.
Yeah. So they don't waste their money on stupid things. They just spend a lot of it on things that they know they want. This next group.
Yeah.
Like, it won't.
This is a hard thing. If you're against spending money on bottles and tables and stuff, you're never going to agree with me on this.
Right.
But, and I was actually explaining this to my mom yesterday because I was explaining to her how much we spent on the pool party. And I said, here's the thing. Especially if you're a group of guys and you're going with a large group to a place like Nashville, Vegas, New York, San Diego, most of those bars and lounges and clubs you want to go into, they're not going to let you in. They're going to make you wait online forever.
Right.
And when you get in there, you're not going to have a good spot because your group is too large to just hang out and like move freely within the bar, which is why getting the table oftentimes does make sense. And drinks are expensive as hell anyway now. So
it's like $20-$30 for
why not split a bottle, even if it's $600? If there's 9 of you, split the bottle for $600. Get the table, have the space.
You're spending more money, but you are getting more for it. You are getting a better experience. But if you're okay with having a less than great experience.
Yeah, if you're a peasant, be a peasant. It's fine.
So there is some confusion going on here.
Yes.
About the bachelor party you went to.
Okay.
Well, AMS said, I watched Monday and Tuesday. I thought the pool party was just something they did. I didn't realize that was the whole reason for the trip. But
that was like the centerpiece of the bachelor party.
The pool. So your cousin was like, I want to go to this pool party.
Yes. That was the only thing that was like the concrete plan. Everything else was built around it. So the dinners that we went to, the other clubs that we went to, that was built around seeing Tiesto at Wet Republic, who, by the way, crushed it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because Tiesto is one of those international DJs who's become a little oversaturated, if you will, because he's such a big name and he's had so many like big songs. Mm-hmm. But he got there and just played hits. Like, it was awesome. I guess 2 hours that he was on, and he probably made like $40,000 on that.
Well, yeah, you guys paid for it.
We paid for a quarter of it, or a fifth of it.
I can't.
What was the other? You said there were other questions?
No, there was just some confusion. Like, did you just happen upon a pool party, or that was what you went for?
That was what we went for, but also in Vegas. I mean, at this point, there are so many casinos that have pool parties.
Which hotel or casino has Wet Republic?
MGM Grand, which is where most of the guys stayed.
Which is where the hangover happened.
No, that was Caesars.
Right.
Remember, he walks in asking about Caesar's Palace?
That's the roof he ends up on?
Yeah.
Caesars paid basically for that movie to happen.
Yeah.
Talk about product placement.
It's good product placement. I guarantee you that hotel, at least for the first year or two after the first Hangover came out, was probably booked solid.
Speaking of,
yeah,
there's so much product placement in It Ends With Us.
Oh, I'm sure.
That I think we've talked about this before, that this is where movies are going to be able to get money. But at one point, someone pays for flowers at Lily Bloom's shop, and it truly is a...
Lily? That's a character?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It's called Lily. Her name is Lily Bloom, but her flower shop is Lily Bloom's. They literally go to pay with their Capital One Venture card, and the camera shoots. It's not just like in their hand or whatever. It's a full shot of them tapping the screen. That is literally all you see on the screen. I was like, oh my God. And then at another point, they have Starbucks cups. And it stands out so much now because in the past, everything would be as blank as possible in movies. Now it's like, oh no, this is paid for. We need the shot, the lighting. Which way is it? It's crazy. There's a few other things that are in there that are like.
And that has happened at times in movies throughout the past 50 years. I mean, think about E.T. was M&M's or Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces, because M&M said, I don't see the point of this.
There was actually an Instagram reel that I just watched this morning, and it was about a guy who worked on the Men in Black song with Will Smith.
Okay.
Right? he found out that Ray-Bans, which were the glasses that Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones wore in the movie, made more money off of the movie because people started buying those Ray-Bans than the Men in Black song made. So he, in that aftermath, left the music industry, went into advertising, and now does product placement for movies.
That's amazing.
Because he realized how much money was being made just in product placement in the right movies.
Should we go into advertising?
It's a lot of money to make.
Wow.
And Will Smith, I don't think, made a penny off of the Ray-Ban sales.
No.
Because Ray-Ban, all they did was pay to be in the movie, and then they make all the money after that.
There was a few more product placement that, there's a part, and I'm not spoiling anything, there's a part in the movie that is different in the book. It's the same outcome, essentially, I believe.
Okay.
But she gets featured in Forbes businesses. And I'm like, this is not what happened. Like, Forbes was not in the book, but it's in here. So it's very much like.
You know, speaking of product placement, there's probably emails that you've gotten or messages or emails that you've gotten as well. There are these companies now that will reach out to us and they'll say, hey, we are doing an article for Forbes or an article for Bloomberg or an article for whoever, and we are ranking our favorite 20 podcasts. If you'd like to be mentioned, it's not even that much money. It's like $700 or something like that.
But you pay, all those lists are fake.
Which means a lot of those lists that you're getting are fake.
Well,
if they're reaching out to little old us, that means most of the things you're seeing are fake.
Well, we were featured in Spotify's podcast to listen to, and we didn't pay a penny.
No, we didn't even know.
Speaking of getting emails to pay for things, just a quick reminder.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think anyone in here would get this email, but just in case, we do not have a team. We do not have a management company. If anyone reaches out to you on behalf of the Carla Marie team or the Carla Marie management company.
Yeah, if Jim Carrey reaches out to you.
James Carrey.
And
David something, it's fake. I have now had 3 content creators, influencers that have fallen for this. The management company says, hey, Carla Marie would love to have you on the Morning Show podcast where she talks to guests about their inspirational stories. So it's kind of like they're combining Side Hustlers and the Morning Show podcast. Your story and your business sounds great. We'll connect with you via Zoom and we'll just tinker with your Facebook settings so that you can do the live Facebook interview with her. Yep. Which if you go to my Facebook, you'll know that I don't have any of this. These hackers will set up Zooms. They've talked to the people.
Yep.
They set up a Zoom with them. And
the giveaway, by the way, is that they do the Zoom without their video on.
I believe so. And then they say, okay, what is your Facebook information? They say the person gives the Facebook information. And then the hacker says, okay, I'm going to have you set me as an admin. Okay. And then they do that. And then they say, the hacker goes in and removes the original person as an admin. They say, you're going to get an email saying, you've been removed as an admin. Is this you? Just hit yes. This is what we need to do. And the person hits yes. The hacker ends the Zoom. You've now lost your 500,000 follower Facebook, possibly your Instagram if it's connected. And what do they do with that?
Yeah, what do they do?
They then go in, the hacker, and they post links from your Facebook to your followers saying, click this for my latest recipe. You click that, it's malware. They now get into everything that person has that's like vulnerable or weak within their system, their phone, their whatever, by clicking that link. It's happened to 3 different pages that at total combined have at least 1 million followers.
Yeah. It's shitty.
Just through me. I'm not even messing with you, per day, 3 messages, whether it's an email, a DM, or through LinkedIn.
And
day.
This is why I say it all the time. Your internet security, and I don't want to, I'm not victim blaming here. It sucks that people are doing that to begin with. But taking your internet security seriously not only impacts you, it impacts everyone in your network. Because once they get access to your account, now they have access to everyone that you talk to.
Yep.
So because I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't care if I get hacked. I have nothing that they want. And it's not about that. It's about the fact that this spider web keeps growing the more and more people get hacked.
So can I read the email? Can we
just
show the email on the screen? That's
read
too
it.
much right now.
Yeah.
So the subject is, be a part of Carla Marie's inspiring conversations. surprised they said Carla Marie. It's good.
They've clearly never watched this podcast.
It's from carlamariebooking@gmail.com. Issue I have is I've tried to report it to Gmail. And they're not emailing me, so I can't physically report it. Mm-hmm. And then when I go in, the option is to say that someone is impersonating me, but they are not impersonating me. So I'm kind of at a loss here. Yeah. Greetings from the Carla Marie's management team. Dear Samantha Harris, she's, by the way, a TV host who got this email. Oh, wow. And she knew it was fake. She told me, hey, they're doing this. My name is James, and I'm reaching out on behalf of Carla Marie. I am reaching out to extend a warm invitation to you to be a part of our upcoming podcast series, The Morning Show Podcast. It's a paid podcast proposal, and please be assured that this compensation is not for booking or performance, but rather a small gesture from the Carla Marie and her production team to recognize the value you bring to our podcast. We understand your schedule may be busy, so please let us know your availability, and we'll do our best to accommodate. Thanks and regards. Looking forward to hearing from you, James Carey, the Carla Marie management team. And then under that, it says, host of the Carla Marie Morning Show Podcast and Seahawks in-stadium host.
Cheese Dot, who is one of our friends who works for the team that now sells our podcast, said, is that something I should have Gemini report, since they're kind of claiming to be us? They're not technically, but
they are claiming to be our. Yeah,
that works. I like that Drown You Out said, damn, Jim did his research. Really, Jim, whoever this Jim Carey person is, is really just using ChatGPT. That probably said, tell me information about the Carla Marie and give me a proposal.
100% is what they're doing. But you've pointed out, and I'm like, what? James Carey? Why would they use that name?
So the reason they do that, and there's a great book called Cultish that goes through a lot of these internet scams and why they do work. The reason you get scams, let's use the Nigerian prince or the Kenyan prince, for example, which Carla Marie did not pick up on. But you'll probably say to yourself, how do people keep falling for the African prince that's scamming people out of their credit card information or bank information?
They get you when you're vulnerable.
It's not that. They use the same tactics on purpose. It's not them being stupid. It's actually them being smart. What they're going to do is they're going to cast the widest net possible. So they get as many emails as they can, and they put the most ridiculous scenario in that email. Because what they want is they want the people who are going to catch them out as soon as possible.
So you see James Carey, and I'm like, Jim Carey, this is fake. Goodbye.
You're out because you already have, your radar is already picking that up, right? What they want is people who have not picked up on those signs, because those are going to be the people that are easier to fool down the road. Because believe it or not, it does take resources on these hackers, on the hacker side, to get these scams done. They don't want to waste their time or energy on people who are going to find them out. They want to use their time and energy on people who might not see through the ridiculousness of the scam right away.
We get a bunch of these. I know there's a Bobby Bones one. They spell Bobby's name like wrong in it. Mm-hmm. It says like Booby Bones. I don't know. But I've seen that one. We get them from the Joe Rogan podcast. Mm-hmm. And do we want to be guests on Joe Rogan's podcast? And the first time I got it, I was like, Joe Rogan, what?
And I think I said right away, I said, there's no way Joe Rogan wants us to be on his podcast.
And I read it, and it was very similar tone. I was like, this seems weird. And then I looked at the email address, and it was either it was a Gmail, and Joe Rogan was spelled wrong, or it was at like joerogan.com, and it was spelled wrong in there.
Yeah. Let's see. So my brother Justin is pretty good at internet security, web security, whatever you want to call it. He said the goal of security isn't to prevent intrusions, it's to become too much of a bother, which is why I'll say things like always set up two-factor authentication. Yeah. Does that mean you're never going to be hacked? No. It just means that you are one level of difficulty higher than the rest of the population. So when it comes to hackers trying to steal your shit, you might just be too much of a hassle. And that's what you want to be. You want to create as many barriers as possible. There was one trick I don't know if this is 100% true, but if you put a period at some point in the middle of your password, apparently when people use like the programs that will export a bunch of usernames and passwords to a spreadsheet, it will take half of your password that's past the period, and it'll put it on a separate line, which just makes their paperwork essentially a little harder to figure out.
Megan said, I'm confused about how someone with a page of 1 million followers is letting a stranger be an admin. So first of all, I said a total of 1 million. It was 3 different pages. They were.
Well, one of them had 500,000, right?
But I know someone who this happened to who has.
Oh, damn it. We're in ads.
Well, now that everyone gets to hear the story. I know someone who it happened to had 3 million and a full business, like everything. I think she was able to get it back, but it gets to a point where it seems so real and you're so deep into it that it's like your gut's telling you this is weird, but I can't say anything. And that is essentially what happened to me when I got scammed out of the $300 or whatever. It was like, I don't know, this does seem weird, but like, I don't know. Like you start questioning, but it's almost the people pleaser in you is like, well, I can't be mean and say you're fake and hang up. I can't do that to this person. They're putting me on their podcast. Like there's this weird mind game you play with yourself.
And for people who are in the social media influencing world, whatever you want to call it, digital creator world, a lot of your job is collaborations, right? So a lot of it does make sense to a certain degree. Now, if you're a random influencer somewhere, does Joe Rogan want you on his podcast? Probably not.
Yeah, but he's had random farmers on.
He has. And I'm sure there's ways that he manages that, but it's tough. You don't want to blame anyone and say, oh, well, you were dumb for falling for that scam, because there's a reason the scam works. And there's a reason it's worked for the past 20 years or however long scams have been around. Let's end the show here.
Oh, can I just show my eye really quick, close up?
It might work, it might not. It's probably going to be too blurry when you get up there. Yeah, it's too blurry and too bright. Okay, we're just going to leave with that. Thank you very much for hanging out with us and listening to us ramble. Make sure you freeze your credit. If you do anything over the next couple days, do that. Make that way, hopefully you don't get your credit card hacked and stuff. Any last comments, Carla Marie? Okay, guess not. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Make sure you listen to the Morning Show podcast. It is available wherever you get your shows. Peace.